Hello, and thank you for joining today's webinar to go over our event platform for this year's Financial Inclusion Week. My name is Ariel Imig. I recently joined the Center for Financial Inclusion on the communications team as our Director of Content Strategy and Outreach. And I'm joined today by my colleagues Rima Patel, who is also on our communications team and has a heavy lift getting this event up and running this year, and Abby Burrell, who some of you probably already know, and she is, again, our primary event lead for Financial Inclusion Week. So we are very excited for this year's event and thrilled to have your sessions be part of our live programming this year. As you may know, we had over 140 session submissions, and from that, only a select handful will be run live. So this year, we're going to have 15 plenaries, just to give everyone a rundown, 11 regional plenaries, 4 networking meetup sessions, and 17 parallel live sessions. So it was a hard decision to get to this number, but congratulations again on your sessions being featured, and we really look forward to working with you all to make these sessions run smoothly. So just really quick to give everyone an idea of how the day will look, because we had a couple questions before, but we're going to be running the global plenary sessions one after the other from 12 to 4 p.m. UTC. And then immediately before and after that, we're going to have several parallel live sessions. So about 2 to 4 sessions that are running at the same time. But we're focusing really hard to cater the agenda such that no 2 sessions are overlapping on the topic. And then our regional plenaries are going to be run same as the global plenaries, one after the other, but during a local time. So those will be usually in the morning of that region. And then the rest of the content is going to be pre-recorded and on demand and made available throughout the conference. So I'm going to now turn it over to Abby, who's going to walk us through the specifics of Swapcard and what you need to know to run a live session this year. Just a couple of housekeeping notes. The webinar, again, is going to be recorded and will be made available on our Financial Inclusion Week website tomorrow. So if you would like to share it with any of your colleagues or go over anything again, it will be accessible. And if you have any questions as we run through today's content, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box or raise your hand and we'll be sure to pause and address them. So with that, I will hand it over to Abby.
Thanks, Ariel, and thank you all for joining us. We're really excited to have you all participate in Financial Inclusion Week this year. Similar to last year, we will be centralising all of the sessions taking place that week, and we'll be using a platform called Swapcard, which I will just share some slides on to talk you through how it's all going to work for the live sessions. So there's a few things that we'd like you to do in advance of Financial Inclusion Week. So Ariel will have communicated with a number of you already, requesting your session title and description, confirming the session time, and also submitting your speaker name and their contact information using a form. If you haven't received the form already, we will be sharing this deck after the call, so you can access the form from there. Once the speakers' names have been submitted, we will be able to create a profile for them on Swapcard, and they will then get a notification when the platform goes live to say that they have this profile and they can create a password to log in. At that point, they can then expand their profiles, add links to Twitter and LinkedIn and whatever else they want to share with the participants of Financial Inclusion Week. They can start networking and setting up meetings with people, and they'll have the full sort of capabilities of the platform, just as anyone else who has registered for the event. The next thing we'd like to request is a banner image for your session, and we will again share this information later so that you have the dimensions that we request. And we'd really like you to sort of feature your company logo on this image as prominently as possible. As Ariel mentioned earlier, we have 140 odd sessions happening during the course of the week. So we'd really like to be able to sort of showcase your session as well as possible, and give the session as much visibility as possible. CFI will create a calendar invite, which we will share with the session organizer. The calendar invite will contain a unique StreamYard URL, and StreamYard will be the streaming platform that we will be using for the week. So essentially, it will be our Zoom for the week, where the speakers will meet, and that's what will be streamed through to Swapcard. And I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a couple of slides. And finally, we'd really like your help promoting the event. Your session will have a unique URL, so you can promote that, but we'd also like you to promote Financial Inclusion Week generally. There's a media kit available on Financial Inclusion Week's website with some social cards and handles to follow, and suggested tweets and things. On the day of the event, the speakers should access the StreamYard link provided by CFI about 15 minutes before the start of the session, just so that we can do mic checks and camera checks and make sure the stream functionality is all working well. And then when we're all ready to go live, CFI will enable the live stream from StreamYard through to Swapcard. And then once the session has finished, we will make the recording available to all the attendees that missed the event for the rest of the week, and for some weeks to follow as well. And then finally, we encourage you to attend other sessions during the week, interact with other attendees. There's lots of networking opportunities on Swapcard, share on social, and enjoy the event. So just to go into the live sessions in a little bit more detail, and talk to you about how StreamYard works. As I mentioned, CFI will send the session organizer a StreamYard URL. It's essentially like a Zoom link that you will click onto to enter the broadcast room. So what you'll see is a screen similar to what you're seeing in front of you now, that will enable you to check your mic is working and check your camera is working. Please put in your full name and your organisation as your display name, and then enter the studio. Once you've entered the studio, a member of the CFI team will add you to the stream. So until that point, you will be a small tile at the bottom, if you can see my mouse here. Once you've been added to the stream, you will be one of the tiles in the main screen. And that main stream is what will be streamed through to Swapcard, and what the audience will be seeing. Once you are within the stream, you will then have the full access to the full functionality of StreamYard. So you can see the chat, you'll be able to share your screen, you'll be able to invite other people to join, and that sort of thing. So it should be pretty straightforward, and we will be there as well, not as part of the stream, but just in the background to enable the live stream when all the speakers are ready. So how StreamYard and Swapcard work together. So the speakers will be on StreamYard, and all of the audience will be on Swapcard. And when all the speakers are ready to go live, we, CFI, will enable the stream to be pulled through to Swapcard. Now, I'm sure you're all well practiced at using virtual event platforms and things by now, so you all know that often while the stream is pulled through, comments and the chat box isn't pulled through. So what we recommend is you have somebody else who's not a speaker act as a go-between person who can be on Swapcard, picking up comments and questions from the audience, but also on StreamYard, not in the stream, but just available there to sort of chat with you and let you know sort of what the audience are saying. Obviously, if you've got two screens, you can have Swapcard on one and StreamYard on the other, and you can see the questions come in. But yeah, having an extra person and an extra pair of hands will be helpful as well. And then so the audience will be on Swapcard, and this is what they will see. So when your session goes live, it will show here on this box. Now they have a number of ways of viewing it. They can keep it there, so they have access to what's coming up next, information about the session and the speakers and everything else, or they can go to full screen, or alternatively they can click around the rest of the site. You can click around the rest of the site and see what the live artist is doing, see what other sessions are happening, but still be able to listen to the session, because there will be a pop-out box with video and audio both connected.
And Abby,
yes,
if you can just go back one slide,
sure.
and maybe just explain a little bit more about how how a designated person can communicate with the audience and with the speakers, and how, we recommend that one person has actually both platforms open at the same time. Maybe you could just explain that a little more.
Sure. So if you have an extra person on hand, as you can see here, there's a live discussion button here, which will, if I just go through to the next page, you'll be able to see that you can chat, ask questions, and do some polling or quizzing if you want to in your session. So having that extra person will just mean that they can have access to the chat and the questions and the poll responses, but also be able to communicate with you, to let you know what questions are coming up, what comments are being made, and the results of the poll, by chatting with you on StreamYard. If there are any questions at the end of this, I'm happy to go through it all in a bit more detail. One feature just to highlight here is the questions do have an upvote. So this thumbs up that you see here, the more people that click on it, the higher up in priority the question goes. So if it's a popular question, your sort of go-between person can say, this question has had 50 likes, so we encourage you to answer this question, and so on. To create a poll, that will be done by the person that is in Swapcard, and it's quite simple. Click on create poll. You'll see this page come up. You can enter your question. You can make an opinion or a quiz, single choice or multiple choice, put in the answer options, and then I think what show results once the answers are submitted is probably going to be the best option to choose here. And poll duration, you can either have it for the duration of the session, or if you're interested in sort of collecting responses over the week, then you can increase the duration to 72 hours or however long you want to put in there. And then just be sure to publish the poll, and it will be live in the live chat button for everybody to view. So that's running a live session. If you have any questions now, please feel free to ask. I'll stop screen sharing for a second. Otherwise, if you have any questions over the next couple of weeks, please feel free to email us at centre@axion.org, or you can email me directly, or Ariel or Rima. So I'll just pause there for a second to see if there are any questions. The event will be made live. So when will the event be made live? A few days before the Financial Inclusion Week. We're actually hoping to make it live in advance of that, actually, so probably mid to end of October. So so you can start seeing what sessions are available and adding them to your schedule. I'm not sure if
I think I've gone.
answered some of these questions already. I'm just seeing that now. Sorry. Are there any that you haven't answered?
I don't think so. I think there is a lot of questions going through about scheduling a trial test run. So just to be clear, we can for sure make that happen. Rima, who you saw earlier, is going to be our point person for coordinating these trial runs with you and your speakers if desired. So what I would suggest is if you can send us an email at our center@axion.org, I'll type it into the chat email address. We'll go ahead and schedule a time with you. I would say, if possible, to schedule those sooner than later. That would be helpful. Just as we get closer to the event, we're all picking up speed on this event, and time is going to become fairly limited. So if you know you would like to do a trial run, please go ahead and reach out, and we'll try to coordinate something for you as soon as we can. Thank you, Abby, for dropping those email addresses in.
No problem. I'll just quickly share the platform with you as well, just so that you can see what your session will look like.
While you're doing that, someone had a question about will there be tech support available in case there are any issues, as well as how do speakers get access to StreamYard?
Access to StreamYard will be via a URL which CFI will share with you via a calendar invite. We will share the calendar invite with the session owner. If the session owner could then share that with all of the speakers, that will then, clicking on that will then give you access to the stream on the day. And sorry, there was another question as well.
Yes, the other one was, is it possible? Oh, sorry. Tech support available in case there's issues.
Tech support is available from Swapcard, but instant tech support, we will be on hand. So the CFI team will be on hand to help with any issues.
And we also had one more question about polling.
Yes.
Is it possible to input the polling questions in advance, or does the team have to wait until their session is live for them to type in their quizzes or their polls that they would like to ask the audience?
You can put them in advance. So once the event is live at the end of October, you can go and put it in. Just note that some people might, I mean, if it's live, some people might answer the poll, earlier than the session. As long as that's okay, then you can put it in
earlier. And yes, another question came through that can speakers also have Swapcard open in parallel and respond to questions there? So Abby was mentioning that, it's nice to have a coordinator sometimes having both platforms open simultaneously to see what's happening. Anyone can certainly have both platforms open. It's just a matter of people's comfort level with viewing two different screens, but there's no limitations on having both open.
I would just recommend that you mute one of them. If you're a speaker, mute Swapcard and keep StreamYard open. Sorry, unmuted, just because there's a little bit of a delay that might be distracting.
And then I know you're going to move into the live demonstration of Swapcard, Abby, but just one more question came through about registration and how that's going to open.
Yeah, registration will go live this week. It will be available on the Financial Inclusion Week website and all of our sort of social channels. So you'll see it on there, but it will go live either tomorrow or Friday. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what the platform looks like at the moment. So each session will get a page like this with your session title, your session description, and all of the speakers tagged. The banner image that I was mentioning to you earlier would go here. So you know, please try and feature your logo as prominently as possible. You know, if I give you a quick snapshot of the agenda, there'll be lots of sessions here. So, you know, making your sort of one pop out is going to be great. And then the live stream will be featured in this box here, and you can go to full screen, or it can pop out into a little box if you want to click around the other side, the rest of the site. You can also add sessions to your schedule, and then they will all show up in My Event, which you can then export to your calendar as well. But just a note there, it tends to download to the calendar attached to your device and not necessarily the calendar that you tend to use day to day. So if you want to add it to your Gmail, there might be an additional click to get it all into there. Are there any other questions?
Well, yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Session organizers will be able to edit the Swapcard page. The session page, if you're referring to your session page, you won't be able to edit that, but you will be able to send us your edits and we can update them for you. You will be able to update your own speaker profile pages and add as much or as little information as you wish. Are there any other questions?
There's a question about polls, and it says, can anyone add polls?
Yes, anyone can add polls. You just need to go into your session, into the session and create one. So to be clear, you don't need to go into the back end of Swapcard to be able to create the poll. You can just go to the session page and create the poll from there. Okay. Well, if there are no other questions, we can give you some time back. We will be posting the slide deck and the recording to the website tomorrow, so you can access it whenever you wish. And registration will go live this week. We encourage you to all register and share via your social channels and encourage other people to register as well. And we will announce when the event platform goes live.
Thank you all for joining, and we look forward to having your sessions be part of Financial Inclusion Week this year.